are watching The Garden Corner Show. It is a show where we are crazy passionate about gardening. But the only thing is, we're very, very real and authentic. Hey, I'm J-Dog, John Karsterboom. I'm out here with Mr. Dave on a very nice day. It is fruit tree planting season. So we're out here, and what I want to do is just go over some really basics on planting a fruit tree. As a matter of fact, it could almost be planting anything into the ground. So we're going to do a little bit of shovel gardening, some important steps to do. Now, a fruit tree, let's get right into it, shall we? A fruit tree is going to need as much sun as possible. So in the minimum, get the afternoon sun. So morning sun is okay, but really we want afternoon sun minimum. All day sun better. So what we did, we looked around. Well, by the way, we are on location at KT's house, and she's just got a great place. It is out here in the country and very, very nice. Anyway, kudos to you, KT. Great choice. So what we're looking at, Mr. Dave and I were walking around the garden, and we noticed some spots had moss in it. So one thing, when I see moss, I say, well, it's going to have a little more shade than we like. And then I looked around and said, well, hey, there's some tall trees here blocking there, a tall tree there blocking that. So we found a spot that has sun, no moss on the ground. So moss is a key indicator of you're getting some sort of shade. So anyway, this is a bare root tree too as well. One important thing to do to remember on fruit trees is that there is a crown that we need to keep above ground. So do not plant over that crown. What it is that's where it was grafted, and if you cover that, you're going to rot that out. So what we want to do is keep the crown above the ground. Okay, so let's just start planting, shall we? Okay, I'm going to set the tree here. I've got it scoped out. Of course, I like to use gloves. And by the way, these are our new West County gloves. And I'm a big one that gloves are really comfortable. Gloves are really comfortable, but also machine washable. Also in stylish colors, of course. But anyway, let's plant the tree. Now, I'm going to dig this hole just as deep as those roots were. So generally what you want to do is, when you have a container and you're planting it in the ground, dig it just as deep as that container, not any more. But go wider if you can. What you really want to do is have the roots go out laterally. So let me dig here. This is great ground, by the way. It's like very fertile ground. Okay. I think that's probably big enough. Now let's just double check. See. Yeah, let's just try that. Now, so what I'm going to do, so now this is our fruit tree. I've clipped the roots a bit, and so I'm just checking the depth on that. So here's our ground level. What I want to do is make sure that that crown is above ground. This looks pretty good. Now, I could backfill with just straight soil, but I want to make sure that I have some compost or some planting mix mixed in there. So we've got our own soil, and I'm going to mix that 50-50. Now, why do that? I could actually fill up this whole hole with just straight potting soil. And while the roots will get out nicely, studies show that the difficulty is when the roots meet the native soil. So if you mix that 50-50, the studies show that it actually gets into the native soil much easier than if it was just straight potting soil or just straight native soil. So mixing it 50-50 does wonders. So I've got a mix in there. I want to use, now we use Biotone to make sure that all the essential nutrients are available. This is really our insurance to make sure that just make sure all 15 essential nutrients are for growing. This one particularly, I don't want to sound like a commercial, but this one also has the mycorrhizae in there. That's a type of bacteria that actually works together with the roots to encourage more rooting on that. So I add some of that in there, and I add some of that to the backfill as well. So I'm going to set these up, and we're going to just make sure that it's just right where we want it. Set it there. Hold on a second. I'm going to mix this in a bit. Okay, I'm going to set that in. Put some backfill in. Okay. Make sure we're there. And we gotta make sure we leave the place clean. But you ever notice a really good carpenter? Now I tamp it down a bit just to remove some air pockets, but also you can do that with water as well. And then just again make sure that that crown is above the ground. So what we're going to do later is just add water to that, and that's going to sink it down and remove any of those any unknown air pockets. Now, a question I often get is, now do I stake a tree? On this size of fruit tree, it's deciduous, there's no leaves, there's not going to be a whole lot of, the wind isn't going to blow it a whole lot, or it's not going to knock it over. If you, on a larger tree, say an evergreen, that's a tree that you might want to stake in, but if it's just a deciduous tree, also very small, generally you don't. Or in high winds area, you might want to stake that. But again, small trees, no leaves, no need to stake it up. So another thing to do this year is make sure it gets plenty of water. So water it in after you plant, but also water it during the high heat of the season. So that's the show for the day. I hope that helps. And again, if it doesn't, here's the quote of the day. When I stand before God at the end of my life, I would hope that I would not have a single bit of talent left and could say, I used everything you gave me. Thank you, Irma Bombeck. That's the show. Live your passion.
See me right out of the sunset on the color TV screen.